This video is going to explain what a flywheel circuit is. It's just two coils with a capacitor. Both coils are going to have 1 millihenry of inductance or 1 millifarad of capacitance. Now, using such circuit, also known as a flywheel circuit, I call it, or coined it in my head. But if you pulse it using a pulse width modulator or some kind of circuit that can essentially make a pulse, you can create a generator or a motor that will continuously spin. Not forever, this is not perpetual energy, fuck that. But you can make a motor or a generator that will spin for a long duration of time. So, to explain this, I'm using just a footrest, a footrest that rots. My hand is going to be the battery, or the circuit that pulses it. So I put in, say, 9 volts of energy. By pulsing it and just letting it go for a while, it will continuously oscillate. Now, at a certain point, I have to put more energy into it. But I don't have to initially put tons of energy in to get tons of energy out. I can just pulse it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so on and so forth. But I can pulse it at different times in the oscillation. So I can go 9 volts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. I can pulse it at different points in the oscillation and give it a longer run time. Now, once again, as you see, it will eventually run down and will stop oscillating and will finally stop because of friction. We all know this. There is no machine that will constantly and continuously run by itself. But this, as two coils and one capacitor that's connected to ground, or ground on the circuit, you can oscillate that circuit to cause a rotation in a generator. So, for instance, if this circuit, one coil was in the stator, one coil was in the rotor, or is the rotor, you can effectively have a run capacitor. And this will oscillate, or continuously oscillate, to cause continuous rotation. Henceforth, that coil or that circuit is the prime mover. You don't need coal, you don't need a turbine, or water, or wind, or steam, or magic fairy dust to have it run. You just need a small pulse of energy for it to oscillate, and those coils will want to push against each other to rotate. So the coils are being pushed away from each other. It's one coil, but the windings are reversed. So the first winding is wound clockwise, and the second coil is wound counterclockwise. So that way they will either be pushed together or want to connect with each other, or you can wind them opposite in the sense that one is wound counterclockwise and the other one is wound clockwise, so they're pushing away from each other. Either way, the oscillation will continuously push the alternator in an oscillation form, and this would be the prime mover, and that fourth phase in the alternator will essentially rotate it and will induce current in the three phases, and those three phases are going to be what's going to power your load. So whatever you want, more motors or some house or whatever you want, even a car, even a truck or a computer, or whatever you want to power as your load. You just have a prime mover, which is one battery and a solar panel that charges the battery. The battery runs a circuit that runs the oscillation at certain intervals in the cycle, in the oscillation cycle. In that way, you don't need even a flywheel. Now, mind you, a flywheel on this circuit or on this alternator will give it longer runtime, especially because it will help the oscillation continue. So, having two coils of 1 Henry of, or 1 farad of, 1 Henry of inductance and 1 farad of capacitance, and that's connected to ground. Connect a flywheel on this shaft. Once you start the oscillation will continue even longer or have a longer runtime and duration because of the flywheel kinetic energy, and the capacitor wants to continuously oscillate. In this sense, it's the same idea as once you're in motion, you don't want to stop moving. A body in motion wants to stay in motion. Well, an oscillator that's being put into oscillation continues to want to oscillate. But once again, because of different magnetic fields and the energies being dissipated throughout other systems and heat and other things, it will eventually stop. But once again, you put a small amount of energy in, you can get large amount of energy out. This principle may sound like a perpetual energy machine. It's not. What it is the same thing that we've been using in radios, transistor radios. A transistor does exactly that. Uses a small amount of energy to control a large amount of energy. This is what an LC circuit was meant for. This is what Nikola Tesla wanted, or was trying to make in his Tesla Tower, or Wardenclyffe Tower. This would have allowed the world, if he could use that tower to connect it to the Earth, essentially the same frequency or oscillation that the Earth's magnetic field oscillates at. We all know that the Earth's magnetic field oscillates in the sense it changes its magnetic field. So it is a battery, but it is also a capacitor. So it changes its magnetic field from time to time, from north to south and south to north. We all know this. If we connected a coil that has the same frequency and same rate of oscillation as the Earth's magnetic field, we wouldn't have to use wind energy, solar energy, and so on and so forth. The universe would be our battery, and that oscillation would be what would power any motor or any generator, like Nikola Tesla said, the universe would power humans' devices, or machines connect our devices to the wheelwork of the universe. This is what he meant. We connect it to the universe. Whether or not that's the sun, or the galaxies, or the planets, or the aligning of the planets to cause a huge oscillation, we don't know that. But Nikola Tesla did. He understood on a cosmic level, it was just a simple circuit. And this simple circuit, because it's so simple in its simplicity, it is very powerful. And this is what we need to do. We need to create systems that aren't complex. We need to make simple, easy, understandable circuits that people can understand and use properly. We could easily connect a coil to the earth and have our power grid run by the universe. If we had that fourth coil, or that fourth phase, in our generators, because our grid is made out of 3 phases, right? And then from there, different utilities and so on and so forth have 1 phase and 2 phases, and huge companies that need it run on 3 phases. Well, but our generators could be ran off of the real work of the earth. This is what makes complete sense in a simple, easy to understand thing. We just have to understand the principle and use it effectively. And this is what the LC circuit was meant for. Or, if you've ever done your history, also called a tank circuit. This is how effective it can be. If you just pulse it at the right time, you can move mountains, or even destroy buildings as Tesla thought he could. Who knows? But this LC circuit, if you pulse it at just the right frequency, you can do many things. And putting small amounts of energy in, you can make things shake and possibly get destroyed. Who knows? But a simple circuit can do so much if you use it properly and effectively with the right understanding of what it really can do.